Welcome to Third Floor Views, a production of Chesapeake Family Life, where we talk about health, education, and living with kids. I'm your host, Janet Jefferson. Today, we're talking about Coats and Clinics. It's an upcoming event. The first one's happening on Monday, December 6th. And today we have joining us Amy Petkovsek, and she is the Deputy Chief Counsel of Maryland Legal Aid. Thank you so much, Amy, for joining me today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
To our viewers, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to put those in the comments section and we will try to get to those as they come up. And hopefully though, we'll answer a bunch of your questions as we get going. So Amy, let's dive right in. First, my big question is just what is Coats and Clinics? So what is being offered and what are some of the details?
Yes, we are really excited here at Maryland Legal Aid to partner with Macy's and also Clothes for Souls, two organizations that help us to get these free winter coats that we have at these events. So our Coats and Clinics events are the distribution of brand new winter coats donated by Macy's for men, women, and children who need them, and then a free legal clinic. And I can talk more in a moment about exactly what kind of advice and information is available, but access to a free attorney when you are there getting your coat.
That's amazing. I love that there are two things that are seem so unconnected, but yet so critical and so needed. So I mentioned that this is happening on Monday, December 6th. And where's the location and are there any other sort of logistical details that families need to know?
Yes, the location actually on December 6th is quite significant to us at Legal Aid because it's at a library, and libraries have been tremendous community partners for resources for allowing us to serve our clients. So Monday's event is at the Long Branch Library, which is at 8800 Garland Ave in Silver Spring, Maryland. It's a branch of the Montgomery County Public Library System.
So there should be ample parking and an easy place to get in and out of. And then is it going to be inside or outside?
Parts of the clinic will be indoors and parts will be outdoors. Some of that will depend on the weather. So we'll see what we get on Monday, but some of the event will be outdoors and some will be indoors. Masks will be required.
Good to know. Good thing you're handing out coats. So who is this, who is putting the event together? So you mentioned that, you're involved, Maryland Legal Aid, and then some of the places where the coats are coming from. Is there anyone else involved? Obviously the library, but anyone else that needs to be mentioned here?
Yes. We're very excited to partner with both of our Montgomery County partners here. So it's our Montgomery County Office of Maryland Legal Aid, in addition to Montgomery County Recreation and the Montgomery County Public Library System. So all of those partners will be on site. We're going to be excited to welcome a number of city council members and some other local elected officials, and just really have a celebratory day. The idea is, you mentioned before that the two things sound so different, coats and legal help, but they're really the same because they're both things that people need. And when you have it on, you feel more at ease. None of us feel comfortable outside in the cold without a coat, and nobody feels comfortable in a courtroom without an attorney. And so we are here to just provide both of those things as we head into a very busy, sometimes stressful holiday season for our clients.
That makes so much sense. So who is this event for? Who are you really targeting and hoping that will come out to Coats and Clinics?
Sure. Maryland Legal Aid's mission broadly is to serve low-income Marylanders. So anyone that is able to access the event who is in need of a coat or in need of legal assistance. So we ask that if you're able to get a coat or pay for a lawyer on your own, that you be able to do that and allow those to come to this event who cannot get usually any of those things.
So then you aren't asking for any form of identification or proof of income or anything like that?
We are not asking for any proof of income, no. And anyone can come and get a coat. If you do decide to meet with a lawyer, there are some intake questions just so we can facilitate the access to legal services and connect you with the right attorney and provide you with the correct information. But there's no proof of anything required for either the lawyer or for the coat.
Fantastic. Do you recommend, other than a mask, people bring anything? Is there something that they need to make sure that they bring so they're prepared to interact?
I have a big answer to this, so listen up, everyone. bring the people that you want to get a coat to the event with you. So unfortunately, if you have 7 children, and you have one person from your family there, I can give you one coat. So we are really clear that the coats are for people who come that day, and it's one coat per person. And so it would be really great if you bring the folks with you who really need a coat in your household, so that we can provide them with that coat.
That's really helpful information. So what kind of legal counsel is being offered on Monday?
Sure, we're offering legal information and then advice in any area that Maryland Legal Aid typically provides civil legal information in. And what in the world does that mean? So I'm talking about family law cases where you might be thinking about a divorce, or someone else filed for divorce, or there's custody concerns, or access to your children, child support issues. We also do a lot of different consumer issues. If you're in debt, if you have bankruptcy questions, you have questions about repossession of a car, those sorts of things. Any concerns with your housing, if you're a tenant and you really are having trouble with your landlord, if you're having rent issues, if you're facing an eviction, if you're interested in rent escrow, or if there's a breach of lease or a tenant holding over case, a possible pending foreclosure, we do representation on all of those issues. Criminal record expungements, to really open the doors to allow people to get things that are eligible off of their criminal record, so that their record is clear and they can access employment or better employment that they have right now. Also access to public benefits, if people are really wanting to access food stamps or temporary cash assistance, or access to Social Security benefits in a number of different ways, like SSI or SSDI. We are able to assist with all of those things.
There's so many different things, and it covers, a huge range of even where you are in your life. So I can see like, oh, this would, apply to older people, maybe grandparents, or, families, mothers and fathers, but then also kids being caught up in some of these challenges as well. People who are renting, or homeowners, and even car owners. So it really just spans the gamut of just everyday challenges. What do you think is maybe the most common or top few things that people are coming in looking for help with?
Across the state, we see the most questions regarding family law issues. So divorce, custody, access to children, adoption, anything that may fall under that gamut. We also provide assistance to those seeking domestic violence protection and assistance. So anything that falls under that umbrella is our most asked question. We also see a lot of housing issues right now, and bankruptcy, and then criminal record expungement. That's sort of our tier of most frequently asked legal questions right now. But often, and I was just thinking when you were talking, people will say, "Oh, I don't need a lawyer. I'm not in trouble. I don't need a lawyer." And there's so many things that Maryland Legal Aid can help with, and you don't have to be in trouble. It's just things that you're stressed about that you don't realize might have a legal solution, and that lawyers are available and free of charge to help you with. So that's the word that we always want to get out.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. The more I think about it, it's like, oh yeah, like I really need to make sure my will is updated. I need to make sure that, some of the other paperwork that needs to be in order, and just all these things that everyone has to deal with in one way or another. And especially as you move through different phases of your life, and whether you're taking care of an elderly family member, and maybe you're concerned about, different challenges that may arise, whether it be selling property, or making sure that you have power of attorney, or things like that. It's just, you're right. So many people think, oh, I don't need a lawyer, but as you move through life, you definitely do. And having access to this free legal advice is so, so, so helpful. And what a beautiful resource to gift to the community.
Absolutely. We are here to help folks problem solve. So a lot of times it's just triage. It's just running through something you got in the mail and you're not sure what it means, or just running through how the court system works, and what a filing is, and how that all happens. And we're really glad to provide that guidance.
That also makes it sound so much less scary, because you're right. I think some people are like, oh gosh, the courthouse and a lawyer, and this sounds so serious, but it's just things that we have set up in the system of our society, and how we navigate it, and that we're all not experts in the law, and having access to someone who is critical for success.
You are right. Things are scarier when they're unknown, and they're also scarier when you don't have the resources to make them known. And so we want to make them known and provide that resource free of charge so that those who cannot afford it are not put at a disadvantage.
What happens as people come and they're like, okay, finally, I'm starting to get my questions answered and I can see maybe a path forward. Is there an opportunity for follow-up advice? Or what if someone can't actually make the event? Is there some place where people can go and still have access to free legal advice?
Absolutely. So yes, we provide assistance on the day of at a legal clinic, but often there is follow-up needed. So we provide in-court representation. If you come to us asking about a possible eviction and your eviction is a month away, if you qualify for our services, we can come with you to court on the day of that eviction and continue to represent you. So many times there's follow-up and continuing legal relationships between the attorney and the client after the first clinic event or the first time that we meet you. And if you're not able to come this Monday, we have, not always with winter coats, but we have free legal clinics across the state of Maryland in every county year round. And so I know that our website will be provided later, mdlab.org. You can always go to that website for an up-to-date list of where the clinics are. We are in the community. We're often in libraries, places of worship, schools, medical centers, lots of different partnerships wherever you live in Maryland. We also have 12 standalone offices, and those offices do phone, online, and walk-in intake 5 days a week. And so all that information is on the website as well, but there's lots of different ways that you can access a free attorney through Maryland's legal aid.
How often do you have clinics throughout the year?
We have over 35 clinics every single month.
Okay, so almost
nonstop,
one every
about
single
5
day.
to 6 every week, and those are they rotate, and they're in all of our jurisdictions.
Good to know. Well, it sounds like this is a great opportunity to, start to address some of these legal challenges that people are having. And it's really easy to get that follow-up help. And then if for some reason that you can't make it, there are ample opportunities anytime to make sure that you can get the help that you need. And that should be really reassuring to everyone. I was wondering if you could speak just a little bit to the history of this event and how it came about.
Absolutely. It starts with our partner Clothes for Souls, which is an amazing organization out of Tennessee. So if you're interested, look them up. They do a lot of great work partnering with corporations who can provide clothes, provide shoes, and a lot of volunteers across the country connecting people who need clothing with that clothing. So we had an initial encounter with our contact at Clothes for Souls, and they were able to connect us to Macy's. And this is our 7th year partnering with Macy's and Clothes for Souls as we deliver these coats to folks who need them. So it's by now it's really exciting. At the first, it was very overwhelming we're a law firm, so we don't usually get a large truck to pull up outside and deliver 7 pallets of 3,000 winter coats, all boxed up. I mean, that's a lot in case you're wondering. It's a lot. So there's volume, there's unpacking, there's sorting, there's organizing, but it is absolutely worth it. In these 7 years, I think I've attended every event, and we normally have 4 to 6 events a year. And just to see the look on someone's face, whether they're 3 years old or 53 years old, we often hear this is the first brand new coat I've ever had, and that's a lot when you think about it. When you're getting your first new coat and you're used to hand-me-downs, or you're used to finding a coat that might be new to you, but someone else had worn previously. These are coats that still have the tags on them, and they're really nice coats. Some of them are designer, some of them are really warm, and they're recent styles, this year's styles, the same coat that I would buy in a store that you would buy in a store. So we like to make it like a store experience for our clients. Even during COVID, last year we did not try on the coats because of COVID precautions. But still, if you were a size women's medium, we said, we have a red one, we have a green one, we have a fleece lined one, and made it a shopping-like experience, because that's really important. It's not a handout event. It's really something where you should feel special and really honored that we can provide you with this coat from Macy's, and then also complement that with the legal assistance.
Mm-hmm. Do you normally run out of coats?
Yes. Yeah.
Good to know. So if the event starts at, and I'm blanking now on what time
this event starts at 3:00.
So then be there at 3:00 to make sure you get the coat that you that you want?
If you can be, that would be wonderful. It is absolutely first come, first serve, and the line usually forms. So we do have
Gotcha.
a few events. We're spreading out all of the coats Macy's provided us with this year over a number of events in December. So we do have some additional events, and I know those will be posted on our website as well. We have an event that's going to be at the Woodlawn branch of the Baltimore County Public Library on December 8th from 4 to 6. And then on December 10th, we have an event at the Laurel branch of the Prince George's County Memorial Library System, and that is from 2 to 5. So in 3 days next week, we're going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 different libraries in 3 different counties. So we're all going to get our rest this weekend and gear up for that. But we are so ecstatic to be with our library partners. Lawyers and librarians are the perfect match, provide the community with resources that they need. And we are thrilled to bring our coat events to the library.
It does sound really exciting. And I also thinking about the times that you're offering different days and different time windows too. So making sure that everyone can find an event that they can attend to. And then also making sure, like thinking when kids are out of school and at the end of the workday and things like that. So making sure it's open and accessible to all.
Tried to find that perfect time match between before the sun sets, once the kids are out of school. Some of the events will still be outdoors for COVID safety, and finding that niche of time. So yes, we're hoping that it works out for folks.
Yeah, definitely. So if you could just speak a little bit to why this is an important event. We've talked about, some of the details and overall what's being offered, but what is the kind of need that you're seeing in the area? And why does this sort of fill a niche or fill a hole?
Absolutely. Maryland Legal Aid's mission is to amplify our clients' voices and to meet the needs that the community brings forward. And the need that we are seeing now, we have seen it. We've been around for over 100 years. This is not a new need, but it's really been amplified coming out of the stage of the COVID pandemic. And that is that our clients are one step away from a disaster. They do not have the resources that they need to exist and to provide for their families, for their children, for themselves. And so this event is so important because it fills those needs. It gives them the legal tools necessary, as we've talked about, to march through that system with confidence. And it gives them a code in a time when, like, we are facing a winter where there will be days where it's very cold. And unless you've seen someone and served alongside them that is living on the street or that is living couch surfing from place to place and doesn't have their own warm winter coat, when many of us have multiple coats in the closet, that need is really tremendous. Most of these events, when people stand in line, sometimes on really cold days outside, they're standing in line for hours with like just a t-shirt on. And so to be able to say, hey, put this on right now, it means a lot, and the events are important.
Definitely. How can community members help? So whether that be in the near future, in the upcoming weeks as we move through the holiday season, but then also in the future, if people are really passionate about this concept, how can people best support the work that you're doing?
That's a great question. So if you're interested in volunteering in person at an event this year or in the future, you can always reach out, just not appear on the day of. But if you check with me ahead of time, we'll provide that contact information. We can always see if there's room for additional in-person volunteers. More broadly, information is on Legal Aid's website about supporting legal services, financially supporting legal services. I know that we've just passed Giving Tuesday, but I don't know that it's the first thing we always think of as a part of the social service network that has to be supported for people to be successful. We think about food, distribution lines, we think about clothing. We don't always think about a lawyer. But if you really stop and think about it, and during the pandemic, my team went out at the food distribution sites with Maryland Food Bank and gave out legal assistance alongside boxes of bread and milk. And it is just that essential. We had cars drive up with clients who were experiencing a domestic violence crisis and didn't have any other way to reach out. This free legal help is just as essential as those other services. And so we really appreciate any financial support that folks can do when they make their annual giving.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you're right. I think that these are things that people don't necessarily think of when you're like, oh, what charities, should we make sure that we're supporting this year? What are some of the biggest needs? Right before you and I got started with this conversation publicly, we were chatting just about how this is a busy season for you, and how there are so many things that are making this maybe even busier than normal. So why right now are the holidays such a challenging time for you and the work that you're doing? And what are the pieces that are in play that are maybe now making it worse than ever?
Sure. The holidays are always a stressful time for low income individuals, especially those that are seeking legal assistance. For those dealing with custody arrangements, the holidays always present new challenges that may not have arisen before. Families are all under stress this year with extra holiday obligations, making sure they provide for their children, give them a great holiday season. And families without money, without resources to do that, get more stressed. And there's often, unfortunately, an outpouring of violence that often arises from that stress. So we see clients that come from that situation. Maryland Legal Aid represents foster children in most jurisdictions across the state. And so as right now, more children are back in school after the pandemic, more community events are happening. We have more mandated reporters calling social services, making reports of abuse or neglect that children are involved in, and those children become legal aid clients. So those attorneys are very, very busy. And then we always have clients that unfortunately during the holidays do not have the resources to make ends meet and have trouble with their rent, or have ongoing interactions that are not positive with their landlord, with their lease agreement. Right now, as people have been underemployed or unemployed for extended periods of time, some having problems even getting unemployment assistance from the Department of Labor, those resources are even more limited, and the housing problems and the eviction crisis has grown. And so the solutions that our lawyers are needing to find when working with clients are more complicated and more numerous than ever. So I would say that the growing eviction crisis, the number of children in foster care, the emergence of domestic violence, and then the every year occurrences of stress and lack of resources around the holidays really make our clients incredibly overwhelmed this time of year and needing additional support. Our lawyers have worked mostly in person all throughout this pandemic, and they are resilient and amazing, and also tired. I can speak for them. I know that because I am tired too. And so it is challenging to be an attorney during this time providing those services.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to just say thank you. Thank you for all the work that you do and for the events that you're putting on and the services that you are providing. Just want to specifically say thank you to Amy Petkovsek, Deputy Chief Counsel at Maryland Legal Aid. And then thank you also to all of our viewers and listeners. Make sure that you do visit ChesapeakeFamily.com for up-to-date local information on home, health, and living for today's Maryland parent. This episode will be archived on ChesapeakeFamily.com in both video and podcast format. And we will also put up all of those links that Amy mentioned, including going straight to Maryland Legal Aid's page, and make sure that you can get to all the resources that Amy mentioned. I am Janet Jefferson with Chesapeake Family Life and Third Floor Views. Thank you so much.